What's up guys, today we'll be testing the 3 main exotic snipers in the game, Izanagi's Burden, Whisper of the Worm, then Darci. And we'll be breaking down the DPS, sustained damage, all that good stuff in this video, and we won't be using reserve perks, so it'll just be the base amount of ammo with all 3 weapons, but we will be using Sniper Rifle Loader for reloading. First looking at Whisper of the Worm with Masterwork, looking at how much damage it does on Greg. With Whisper Breathing it hits 8439. Then with White Nail on the weapon, it no longer pulls from thin air, but still pulls from reserve and reloads the entire magazine like you see right here, so you don't have to reload as long as you're hitting 3 crates in a row constantly. So testing the rate of fire of the weapon, just using Lunafaction as if we're hitting White Nail over and over again, shooting off 10 shots, see how long that takes. It'll take quite a while. At roughly 7.167 seconds, which means the DPS of Whisper of the Worm will be 11,775, which is pretty good after all the Shadowkeep changes to auto reloading and stuff like that. Now let's look at Darci, and it hits 5107, and unlike Whisper of the Worm, there are no tricks to reload, so you have to reload naturally. So I'm going to go ahead and use Sniper Rifle Loader for this test to make it a little bit quicker. We're going to shoot off 3 entire mags, so 21 total ammo, which means 2 reloads. See how long that takes. It's going to take quite a while once again. Final magazine takes roughly 12.351 seconds, which means the DPS over 3 mags with Darci would be 8,683, which is much lower than Whisper of the Worm, but not too bad compared to most things in the game once you remove auto reloading. So let's go ahead and throw in Pulse Wave to max out the reload speed of Darci, see how much that helps, because in Shadowkeep with Lunafaction and Rally Barricade giving you increased reload speed, more than likely it's going to be very easy to max out the reload speed for most weapons. So doing this same test again, shooting off 3 mags, it now takes 11.268 seconds, which means the DPS would be 9.5 thousand. So it is a little bit higher, but still not quite to what Whisper was, but once again, not too bad. Final weapon will be Izanagi's Burden with the Masterwork and Honed Edge times 4. Looking at Greg, see how much damage it does. It hits 21,885, which is a lot. Now shooting off 5 Honed Edge times 4 shots with no reserves, you can shoot off 5. That's the maximum ammo. See how long that takes. It's going to take quite a while, just like all the other snipers. 10.918 seconds, which means that Izanagi's DPS is 10,022, which is right in the middle of Whisper and Darci. But once again, let's throw in Pulse Wave to simulate what Lunafaction will be like in Shadowkeep, maxing out the reload speed of Izanagi's, shooting off 5 again, see how long it takes now with maximum reload speed. Now it takes 8.184 seconds, which means the DPS with Pulse Wave on Izanagi's Burden will be 13,371, which is almost 2,000 more than Whisper of the Worm and a lot more than Darci. Now let's look at the total damage output of these 3 exotic snipers. With Izanagi's, you can shoot off 5 Honed Edge, which would result in 109,000 damage, which is pretty good for only 5 shots of a special weapon. Now let's look at Whisper of the Worm. It holds 18 ammo, and with Whispered Breathing on all 18 shots, you're going to do just under 152,000 total damage, which is really good for a single weapon in the game and 50% more damage than Izanagi's Burden. Now let's look at the final option, Darci. It holds 23 with no reserves, which will be a total of 117,500 total damage. So Whisper of the Worm was by far the best for total damage output, which is not too surprising. And it had pretty good DPS, but Izanagi's with good reload speed is a little bit higher. And the less you have to shoot Izanagi's Burden, the higher that DPS number will go. That's why compared to my previous video talking about Izanagi's where I shot off 6 shots, it was around like 12,000. Now only shooting off 5, it was 13.5 thousand. So as you shoot less and less shots with Izanagi's Burden, the burst damage goes higher and higher because you're not reloading as much. So with that being said, Izanagi's will definitely be the king of burst damage. Now if it's a longer fight with multiple phases, something like Whisper of the Worm with that higher sustained damage and also pretty good DPS at the same time will definitely be really good. And unfortunately, I don't think Darci really has a place in Shadowkeep. Izanagi's Burden more or less has the same damage output, but a lot higher DPS. Then Whisper Worm is better in both categories. So Darci really doesn't have a place. And it kind of has been that way for quite a while now. Another thing to take into account for this comparison is which slot each weapon is in. So for example, if you want to use a grenade launcher, you can still do that while using Izanagi's Burden. So you can use a 150 spike grenade launcher as your heavy, and that will increase your total damage output a lot for Izanagi's Burden. Or you can even use something like Wendigo, which is really good for ad clear and boss damage and things like that. Compared to Whisper of the Worm, you can pick from any of the special weapons of the game. You can use a triple tap fireline sniper, or you can use a 1-2 punch shotgun, a trench barrel shotgun, wherever you want. If you need really good accuracy, you can go with the shotgun route. If you need more damage for the boss, you can put on a sniper. So not only is Izanagi better than Whisper in some scenarios, it might also come down to the other weapons that you have in your build, in the way you play and the way you want to play. For example, in my opinion, Izanagi's Burden, Recluse, and Wendigo is a very, very solid all-around build. You kind of have something for everything. And the same can kind of be said about, you know, maybe a hand cannon, a 1-2 punch shotgun, and then also Whisper. That is also another really well all-around build. So it might just come down to your playstyle or what the exact raid, strike, encounter, whatever you're doing, the way your build fits the actual activity. So overall, I definitely see Whisper being a huge part of the meta in Shadowkeep, same with Izanagi's Burden. So yeah, let me know what you think about these 3 exotic snipers. Which one do you plan on using a lot in Shadowkeep? Anyways, thanks for watching. Catch you guys next time.